Let's play Family Feud! 100 people surveyed. Top 10 answers on the board. Adam, what is the nerdiest thing you do?
The nerdiest thing I do?
Yeah, what's the nerdiest thing you do?
The nerdiest thing I do? Oh, God, afraid to admit this, but, I like to jerk it to tentacle porn.
Tentacles, huh?
Yeah, almost exclusively.
Me too, dude. Show me jerking it to tentacle porn. Sorry, Adam, that's not up there. Care to go again?
Falling asleep, to CBS All Access just watching reruns of Star Trek.
Alright, show me falling asleep to reruns of Star Trek. Space. The final frontier. Star Trek really freaks me out and stuff.
Oh, hello, Starfleet Academy Dropout. My name's Adam, and
I like Star Trek.
I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Trekkie, and I live and breathe Star Trek. I'm a big dumb nerd doing big dumb nerd things. Let's get into it, man. Falling asleep to Star Trek. This is something I've been guilty of for, God, like over a decade, whenever like streaming services really changed our lives. I remember falling asleep to this on Hulu and then on Netflix, and now it's off of Netflix and on Paramount Plus. Still do the same thing every night, you know. I work a very exhausting 9 to 5. Come 10 o'clock, I put on Star Trek The Next Generation, the original series, Voyager, DS9, Picard. Well, it's kind of hard to fall asleep to like the newer iteration of Star Treks because I'm not ultra familiar with them, so I feel like the ones I love to fall asleep to are the original series and Next Generation just because I've seen it in its entirety, God, maybe dozens of times each, you know, all the seasons on repeat. You know, is that what Trekkies do? Is that what we do? We just watch them all and then rinse and repeat. And I feel like I don't really take in a whole lot of new IP, but, you know, it's my go-to. And since I've seen it and can damn near quote every episode, it's just easy to have something on in the background, you know. Turn the brightness down on the TV, set that sleep timer, you know, half an hour. Not enough to finish an entire episode, but enough for me to fall asleep. And I remember I had this roommate at one time. His name was Byron, and he told me, "Hey, man, I don't think falling asleep to Star Trek is good for your psyche. Does it give you nightmares?" I'm like, "Nightmares? What are you talking about, man?" He's like, "Dude, when I was a kid, Star Trek really freaked me out, and like, even when I heard like, you know, the beginning song, like, I'm just like, nope, time to turn it off." I'm like, okay, well, no, it doesn't give me nightmares. Kind of fucks with my head, but I wouldn't call it nightmares. I think my whole life's a living nightmare, but that's just me being weird and emo. But yeah, falling asleep to Star Trek every night, and it's something I look forward to almost. It's like weekends, you know, I stay up later and, you know, even when I go out, I come back and, you know, put it on, wind down, you know, and then inevitably fall asleep. And I feel like it's basically like a white noise machine for me at this point. It's like I'll just listen to Kirk and his boys, you know, have a conversation and I'll fall asleep to it. And plus the music on Next Gen, TOS is amazing. Those intro songs to all those classic Star Trek television shows, even Deep Space Nine, the 90s Star Trek properties, just like, was it Goldsmith? He did like Voyager, DS9, like maybe even had done TNG. I should have researched that, but dude, the music, you know, the opening credits, the end credits, all three of those properties had just amazing music. And even like the sound engineering of each of the episodes is like, it's damn near perfect. It's good stuff. You should, I keep saying you should watch Star Trek, but I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, like, you watch Star Trek or you watch it in its entirety and you're looking for more opinions. And I'm sorry I don't do like episodic breakdowns if you're looking for that. There's so many forums for it. What if you want a podcast about that? I'd encourage you to check out High Trek. Two stoner buddies talking about Star Trek, and it's a good laugh. It's they pick up on stuff that I'm like, huh. I guess I wasn't that stoned when I seen that episode. I didn't pick that up, but good on you. And then there's The Greatest Generation. I think it is hands down the best Star Trek podcast ever. Hey, my name's Adam. I'm a friend of DeSoto. I don't know. I think only the real nerds know what that means.
Eyes in the dark. One moon.
Let's talk night terrors. Not the thing that keeps me up at night and makes me feel completely unrested in the morning, but that super fun episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 17, Night Terrors. That one. You know, that really weird episode where everything kind of felt out of place, and it felt like a 47-minute horror movie, sci-fi horror, sort of like Event Horizon, but weirder. It's basically, what if David Lynch directed an episode of TNG? That's how it felt. Like the acting was very over the top, and the use of practical horror effects, and just made this episode fantastic. I feel like everyone purposely did their part in overacting, especially Dr. Crusher. I feel like she nailed it. But I feel like the person that embodied the role the best is Patrick Stewart, just because he came from a almost Shakespearean background, you know, that play acting. And so all his movements, his facial expressions and his gestures, just straight up David Lynch, and I freaking love it. Especially when he's like in the turbo lift and he thinks the ceiling's closing in on him. It's classic. You see a lot of the Picard temple squeeze in this episode. That's always a plus. But I will go ahead and recap this episode in 60 seconds or less. Start that timer. All right, so Enterprise and crew locate a missing Federation ship called the Britannia. All the crew are dead on board except for one man, a Betazoid. Enterprise and crew are stuck in a Tychon's rift. It's a binary star system creating some sort of rift in a well, and they're stuck. Same thing that trapped the Britannia. The crew is experiencing some madness due to lack of REM sleep, according to Dr. Crusher. And she explains it as basically no one's able to dream except for the two Betazoids. And so this lack of sleep is compounding and causing this space madness, insomnia, plus violent tendencies. It's basically the same thing that the crew of the Britannia experienced and what drove them all to kill each other. So Troy is the only Enterprise crew member that is able to dream, but she's experiencing night terrors, hence the name. And in her dreams, she is floating around in this awesome, I don't know, I call it subspace, realm, clouds, and then there's two moons. And she's communicating telepathically to the Beta Z survivor. The bridge crew gets together in their ready room and discovers that, they're talking about hydrogen. And so they devise a plan to use a hydrogen bomb to escape the Tychon's rift. In typical Star Trek fashion, they use Star Trek science and logic and create a bomb and basically free themselves. They leave the Britannia behind, but all the crew is safe and happy. That's it. End of episode. But still, the weirdest part in this this entire episode is Troy's dream, and it's just weird. She's just floating through clouds and talking. She's asking, "Where are you? I can fly." That would have been my first question. Like, dude, where am I? And I can fly. This is awesome, dude. I'm like Neo in the Matrix.
Where are you?
I guess we can talk about the science. Let's talk about the science of falling asleep while watching television. So for the past, decades, there's been studies done about watching TV right before bed. Does it Does it mess up your circadian rhythm? Does it cause sleeplessness? And there has been dozens of studies pointing to the fact that yes, if you watch TV right before bed, that it can mess up with your sleep schedule. But last year, there was a sleep study done in 2021 where they found that if you watch a little bit of television or an audiobook or a podcast before bed, perfectly fine. Helps you unwind and helps you fall asleep and get that good sleep we need. Not like the episode where they didn't hit REM or dream and then drove themselves mad. But I don't know. I feel like I've been doing this for years, watching TV before bed, not night terrors. And I feel like, you know what? I feel perfectly healthy, perfectly normal, to quote one Dr. Drew. So I think it's beneficial. I mean, anything that is a well-deserved distraction from a very busy day, or if you're like me, you can stress yourself out about future tripping and finances and what am I going to eat tomorrow? Those are the questions that always keep myself up right as I'm trying to fall asleep. Contemplating my existence. But Star Trek helps. Well, actually, anything helps. Books help. Audiobooks, podcasts. They all help. Just unwind. Take a little time. Self-care, guys. Do it. Do it to it. Watch Night Terrors. Let me know what you think. It's a great episode. Just watch Star Trek before bed. I mean, if you found this podcast, I guarantee you're like me, and you're like, what am I going to watch today? Well, let's start from the beginning of Star Trek, the original series, because why not?
As my final duty as acting captain, I order you to bed.
If you haven't tried falling asleep to Star Trek and you use a white noise machine, try it. Especially if like your partner snores. Like it's kind of nice to not focus in on your partner snoring, but instead, I don't know, Jean-Luc Picard or Worf, maybe Riker, Spock, Bones, all the boys. But definitely have a timer on your television or phone, because with the streaming services, what they like to do is just keep playing episodes. And then if you're like me and you're a kind of a medium to light sleeper, you know, if like you get up after like an hour and you haven't hit that REM cycle yet, like you're up. I do that a lot. That's what I found for my own personal sanity. 30 minutes is the best, because after 30 minutes is just silence and I can shuffle on out to the dream world, right? That's enough of falling asleep talk. Let's get into your Klingon lesson of the week, and then you can get on to whatever next podcast you have up on your queue to distract you from your work or your family or your friends or your partner or your lover or just your mindless commute. All right, Klingon lesson.
How to speak.
I'm thinking today we just do a single word versus a phrase. Oh, for those who are curious, I have a Klingon dictionary. That's what I'm doing my lessons from. It is the Klingon Dictionary, English to Klingon, Klingon to English. The official guide to Klingon words and phrases by Mark Okrand. And it includes material from Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek 6. What? Okay, that's cool. But the cover is Christopher Lloyd from Star Trek 3, you know. That guy. Okay, he's the best. Rumor has it Christopher Lloyd's jumping into a Star Wars property. That's cool. You can have him. You can have old Doc Brown. Kirk blew him up. Trekkies win. Sleep. Let's just say sleep in Klingon. Here you go. You say Kong or Kong. Go sleep on that hard ass bed. You know, they sleep on like, what is it, like a metal slab or a concrete slab? Yeah, it's good for your Klingon vertebrae. Even though I feel like plastic barrels break Klingon vertebrae. At least it did for Worf. So get your sleep. Get your Kong. Get some rest. fall asleep to Star Trek. Try it just at least once. Try it out. You might love it. And it may be your day-to-day for the rest of your life, because I feel like that's the direction I'm moving towards. It's gonna be like in my 40s, like, I've been doing this for 2 decades to fall asleep to Star Trek. I sleep like a baby. I do sleep like a baby. And it's thanks to Star Trek. Thanks for listening, guys. If you want more silliness, check out the Dad Fights podcast, the show I do with my best friend Jeremy, where we take 2 television dads. We've thrown Worf in there. I think there'll be more Star Trek guys in the mix in the future, but check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Also, if you're going to start a podcast for yourself, which I encourage everyone to do, because why not? It's what the cool kids are doing, is what I heard. Use Buzzsprout. It's a company where you can upload your pod to all the podcatchers in one place. They provide an RSS for you, and it's just one and done. Just one stop, and it's out. And it's really simple. They have a lot of cool tools to use on the website. It's fairly inexpensive to have them host for you. And the best part, if you use the link in the description, you can get yourself a $20 Amazon gift card when you sign up for Buzzsprout. And you can use that for anything. You can get a first edition Klingon English dictionary like I'm holding on there. You can even probably get one for your PDF. You can look at it on probably the device that you're listening to this on. You can have it on there and be ready to go. You'll be the studious student. That means I'm a terrible teacher. But yeah, do it. Start a podcast. Use Buzzsprout. If you had fun, hey, leave me a nice review. You don't have to, but it helps. Everything helps. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.